Thank you, devotees. Chapter 2.29. Sarvabhutastham atmanam sarvabhutanichatmani Eekshate yoga yuktaatma sarvatra samadarshanaha. A true yogi observes me in all beings and also sees every being in me. Indeed, a self-realized person sees me, the same Supreme Lord everywhere. A Krishna conscious yogi is the perfect seer because he sees Krishna, the Supreme situated in everyone's heart as Supersoul. Ishvaraha sarvabhutanam hrideshe Arjuna tishtati. The Lord and his Paramatma feature is situated within both the heart of a dog and that of a brahmana. The perfected yogi knows that the Lord is eternally transcendental and is not materially affected by his presence in either a dog or a brahmana. That is the supreme neutrality of the Lord. The individual soul is also situated in the individual heart, but he is not present in all the hearts. That is the distinction between the individual soul and the super soul. One who is not factually in the practice of yoga cannot see so clearly. A Krishna conscious person can see Krishna in the heart of both the believer and the non-believer. In the Smriti, this is confirmed as follows: atatatat cha matritvat. So atatvat cha matritvat cha atmahi paramo harihi. The Lord being the source of all beings is like the mother and the maintainer. Atatatvat. As the mother is neutral to all different kinds of children, the Supreme Father is also. Consequently, the Super Soul is always in every living being. Outwardly also, every living being situated in the energy of the Lord, as will be explained in the 7th chapter. The Lord has primarily two energies, the spiritual and the material. The living entity, although part of the superior energy, is conditioned by the inferior energy, the living entity. Inferior energy. The living entity is always in the Lord's energy. Every living entity is situated in him in one way or the other. Good news. The yogi sees equally because he sees that all living entities, although in different situations according to the results of fruit work, in all circumstances remain the servants of God. While in the material energy, the living entity serves the material senses, and while in the spiritual energy, he serves the Supreme Lord directly. In either case, the living entity is a servant of God. This vision of equality is perfect in a person. And it's very interesting. So all of us are, in one sense, already surrendered. So there are different ways to actually understand Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada presents this variety in his purports. In some purports, Prabhupada emphasizes a different side. In other purports, Prabhupada emphasizes on another side. So it's very interesting. So on one side, we understand I have to surrender to Krishna. I have to give up my attachment to material energy. I have to become more sincere. So that is this side, which is okay, which is something we discuss on a regular basis. But there is another side also that's true. What is that? Is we are already, without us having to do anything, we are already servants of God. Whether I acknowledge it or I am deluded is the only question. Very simple. So there is no artificial force that is needed to become a servant of God or to become Krishna conscious. It is just a recognition. That's what Prabhupada is saying in this purport. It's just an admission. It's just an acknowledgement. It's a discovery. Prabhupada's called self-discovery, journey of self-discovery, which means it's always there. I'm always a servant of Krishna. Oh, I didn't know that before. So when we become more attentive to reality, so that is what the process of Ashtanga Yoga is to become attentive. As I mentioned before, you become attentive to your postures, you become attentive to your breathing, you become attentive to your mind, you become attentive to the philosophy you uphold, you become attentive to your line of thinking. In this way, you become attentive. And the beginning of liberation is you become attentive to actually the fact that who's the person who's attentive. Someone is attentive all the time. I'm attentive about the mind, I'm attentive about the intelligence, I'm attentive about the body, I'm attentive about the breathing. But who's attentive? That you will become attentive to. Attentive to the question of who's being attentive, that you will become attentive to. So that is Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. Right? There is one, what do you say? There, Adhikari. Tamil we say Asami. There is someone who's there. He's the one who's attentive in all situations. He's attentive to misery, he's attentive to sleep, he's attentive to dreaming. He's the one who's witnessing all of this. You see? So Adhyaksha. So he's the Adhyaksha, he's the seer for everything that is happening in his life. So become attentive to that, and even more so, become attentive to the Lord, who is the Paramatma. So this is basically Ashtanga Yoga. Become attentive. So when we become attentive, the process of Ashtanga Yoga basically says, you'll realize actually I'm a part and parcel of Krishna, either materially or spiritually. Materially, what happens? I'm in delusion. Material energy, we should not think, oh, I'm in material energy, I'm in the material world, so I'm deluded. Even in material, even while we are in the material world, we can be self-realized. Self-realized means what? I recognize that I'm a servant of God even while I'm here. This recognition, if I'm doing while in the material energy, spiritual only. Prabhupada says in one place, the material energy is like an electrical current. Sometimes you use electric current to heat up something, and sometimes you use it to cool down something. But ultimately, current is current. Similarly, energy is energy. Sometimes when the energy is when we are using that energy to forget Krishna, that is material energy. When you're using energy to realize Krishna, it is spiritual energy. So Prabhupada in many situations also called the material energy. When we realize its connection with Krishna, Prabhupada said in some places, that is also spiritual energy. Because spiritual or material lies in our consciousness. You see? So it's a very interesting way to understand spiritual life in a very unstressful manner. What is that? No one cannot be a servant of the Lord. Everything belongs to the Lord. Isha vasi vidam sarvam. Yatkinja jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjita magritaha kasyas vidhanam. Everything is resting on the Lord. Matsthani sarvabhutani nachaham teshu avastitaha. Everything rests upon me. Mayi sarvamidam protam sutre manigana iva, as Krishna says. Nachamasthani bhutani pashyame yoga vishwaram. So Krishna mentions in many places in the Bhagavad Gita that everything is resting upon me. Bhumi rapa narova yukham mano buddhirevacha ahankaramiti yamme bhinna prakriti rashtatha. And 10th chapter, Asoham Sarvabhuteshu, everything, whatever we see is Krishna. So this realization that everything is connected to Krishna, this jnanam is called self-realization. So you should not think self-realization means if I open my eyes, there will be light. No. Simply, until yesterday, I did not have this knowledge. I was thinking everything is disconnected from each other and everything is acting independently. That's like when a person who's watching a body for the first time understands the liver separately, this separately, that separately. But when you advance in knowledge, you understand how everything is affecting other part of the body also. Right? That is a holistic medicine. Correct? Right now, Rajasic medicine means, what is Rajasic medicine? They give you treatment as if these have an independent existence, right? So similarly, the Purusha Sukta, the Upanishads bring home this point in many places. See the whole world as one body with Vishnu as the soul. So in many places you'll see the word for Krishna. You won't see the word Krishna. So one will say, "Hey, I don't see the word Krishna in Upanishads." So how do you say? Why are you talking about always about Krishna? Upanishads don't talk about Krishna. Right? See, Krishna is understood in so many ways, so many levels. So one way of understanding Krishna, one level of understanding Krishna is understanding him as the Atma. Atma for what? Atma for the world. Right. So you can see, if you see the whole world as one body, he is the Atma. So what does it entail? It entails that we see everything connected. There is nothing that is disconnected from the Lord. He is the soul. Without him, nothing will work. So he's the one who's animating. He's the one who's conscious, right? Because the soul is always conscious of every part of the body. Just like even if a nail is a little breaking, you're conscious, is it not? Similarly, you are within the body of the Lord right now. How will the Lord not be conscious of what you're going through? If you understand this tattva, that's like a small nail breaks or there's a small prick on your finger. Immediately you are conscious and you're going for a band-aid. Correct? Now, if you are able to be conscious of your finger, then I am the part of I'm right now in the body of the Lord, in one sense, material energy of the Lord. Right, I'm situated. So anything that even little happens to me, will the Supreme Consciousness, Vishnu, not be aware of that? Of course, he's conscious of that. Right? He's conscious of that fact, yes. But when we are conscious of the fact, that is why there is a difference between the body and soul. Right? The body, yasya atma shariram atma naveda, yasya prithvi shariram prithvi naveda, the Upanishads are saying. So if the rock and stone is not able to be conscious of the fact that Vishnu is my soul, that is not so bothersome because it is achetana. But we are chetana. We are actually conscious. So our consciousness is actually the food for ourselves is when we realize this fact of whom we over existence to. Whom we over existence to. So we exist always, in all situations, in all times, in all places, in all circumstances, unconditionally. Unconditionally. Okay? With your body, everything, you are already a part and parcel of Krishna. without me having to do anything about it. If you recognize it, it is called liberation. Because when you are associating with the Vidya Shakti of the material world, you can recognize it. Avidya Shakti, you forget it. That's all. Simple. So there is Krishna consciousness is actually spiritual life itself is very simple. Like it's already there, but I am forgetting it. That forgetfulness is because of my independence from Krishna. So as soon as I give up my independence, this forgetfulness is erased. So in any capacity in your life, if you give up the independent mentality you have, or I have, immediately you will be freed from Maya. But as long as you hold on to that independent mentality, I know what I am doing. I will take care of myself. As long as we are thinking like that, we will not realize our connection with the Lord. So the beginning, spiritual life 101 is to give up our independence. Give up your independence. In some way, in some capacity, give up your independence. And if you do so, we will make advancement. And advancement is what? Recognition is advancement. Recognition is advancement, that's all. Stop here. Any questions or comments, Sarvatra? Thank you, devotees. Hare Krishna.